Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. I've just noticed there's a whole bunch of kookaburras have landed in the tree right outside here, so you may hear them cackling. For those of you that aren't Australian, kookaburras are a I don't know, medium-sized bird, and they live in the Australian forest, but they make a loud cackling sound early in the morning, and when they gather in groups during the day. Anyway, you might hear them. So the purpose of this essay is to talk about, is invasion, as in armed invasion, and occupation, as in physical occupation, boots on the ground, that sort of stuff, even necessary today, particularly if you want to take over an advanced society. If you want to take over a sort of a third world country where there are no sort of centralized, energy transmission plants, there's no sophisticated infrastructure, there's no communications infrastructure of any substance, then you kind of do need boots on the ground. Although even there, as Afghanistan showed, it isn't that easy, particularly when you've got some group that's ideologically quite totally the opposite. But in terms of an advanced society, where all that infrastructure is in place, all you really need is an internet connection, if you like, to that society, and you can spread whatever information you want and pretty much take over. Now, once you control the media and you control the public service institutions and you control at least the majority of the politicians, then you have control of that society, because through that you have then control of the police and the army and all methods of enforcement and methods of targeting people that you don't like. So really, invasion in terms of the boots on the ground thing in an advanced society probably isn't necessary anymore. To what extent it might be in certain pockets or areas is yet to be seen, I guess, as the future unfolds. Now, if we look at sort of corrupt lower middle range countries like say Ukraine and that sort of thing, invasion may be an option there, where you've got another force attempting to take over and you want to stop them from taking over. In order to do that, you need to put some boots on the ground. So there's a middle range there, but Ukraine's hardly an advanced society with a functioning capitalist economy, and far from it. So anyway, when we look at the need for invasion now, the purpose of invasion is to take control. So and it's either to eliminate a rival, as in a commercial rival, or eliminate a possible threat in terms of maybe military or other form of threat, ideological threat, or the idea of occupying for sort of direct economic gains, probably gone out with, as soon as agricultural societies sort of went by the wayside. The idea of occupying another country just so you can take over the land and then tax its agricultural produce is really, that's something of the that probably ended around the time of the Second World War, if not earlier. But looking at control now, how do you gain control? Do you need an army to do it? Now, there will be situations where maybe national pride's at stake, like the Chinese want to put soldiers in Taiwan or something like that. But the taking over of society can be done now without military occupation, or without them fighting back or resisting. And so there's a form of sort of passive invasion, which the communists attempted to use on the West. The communists, as in the Soviet communists, Chinese to some extent as well, believe that the West, capitalism was a dying, and democracy was a dying method of government and of social organisation. It was decadent. It was destined for the trash can of history and all that sort of stuff. And socialism, communism was the way forward for the future. So So they, in the belief that capitalism democracy was failing in their cognizance, that the communists set about um, undermining what they thought was the misplaced confidence in capitalism and democracy and the rule of law, undermining that through various means of propaganda and through placing agitators in public service departments, in trade unions, in teaching institutions, and so on. So that architecture of how to undermine the confidence and the faith and the self-belief of the West, that architecture was employed by the globalists to allow them to take over and penetrate the various institutions of the West. And again, it has to be an advanced society for this to happen. Because the advanced society has all the organs and the apparatus and the structure there that you can penetrate, that the globalists, or before that, the communists could penetrate, and then use that to take over. So a third world society doesn't have any of that infrastructure in place, so it's much harder. Now, so all you have to do is undermine the confidence and faith in society and belief in our institutions. Look at sort of the young people at university today. White people are evil. They're all Hitler. The whole of white society is illegitimate. White government's illegitimate. White people, white men are illegitimate. Everything is illegitimate. It was never legitimate. It's only now that we're discovering this illegitimacy, and we have to stop climate change. We're all going to die from climate change. There's no future. We have to stop it. We have to stop all these evil white people and these white men because they're bad and the world is ending, and all the people, everything that happened previously was bad. Look at the way that gay, lesbian people, everyone has to be equal. If even one trans person in the whole world is disrespected, then they're all disrespected. And if the disrespect means whole society is evil, and if it's all evil, it means it has to go. It has to be replaced by something. What does it have to be replaced with? Well, I don't know, but it's just all bad and it has to be replaced. Anything is better than what we've got now, because it's all so bad. It is so bad that anything that replaces it is an improvement. So let's not even worry about what's going to replace it. Let's just work hard to get rid of everything that we've got now. Because racism and fascism and Hitler and because climate change and because transphobia and because misogyny, and it's all these things. So there's no real coherence to it all. It's just get rid of everything that we've got. And for any anyone to have such a mindset, it demonstrates, and for so many of them that have that mindset now inculcated into them, it demonstrates how incredibly successful this neo-invasion has been in undermining confidence and faith in the future. I used to, as a young guy, sort of in my early 20s, I encountered many people, not all, but many people who were very positive about the future and the contribution they wanted to make, the new world they wanted to build, and how they wanted to create something better. And creating something better meant more opportunities, promoting people on merit, spotting talented people and making sure they had a seat at the table. It was all those sort of things. Now it's the complete opposite. And our educational institutions, our public service institutions, our government, our media, the whole edifice is directed to undermining the confidence of all Western citizens to the point where either they think questioning or resisting is futile, or they actively want to destroy themselves. And it's been very successful. And again, all across the Western world. The college kids in Australia, the college kids in Britain and in Canada, the United States, and all Germany and France, they're all convinced that they're part of some diabolically evil society that must be replaced by something. They don't know what, but something, because it's just so bad, it just has to go, and whatever replaces it will be an improvement. And so invasion isn't really necessary. The globalists have in my view, have achieved pretty much all their objectives without having to fire a shot or put a single soldier's boot on the ground. It's all been done by from within, and it's all been we've been completely undermined. Given how positive and confident about the future even one generation ago was, we're now at a situation where this generation, or probably a couple of 1.5 generations, I guess, has zero confidence in the future. Even in a private school, you look at the talking to kids of folks that I know, where I know their parents and everything, and it'll come up, Billy Bob's doing a high school assignment, and his heroes are the black Nelson Mandela from South Africa, who was a terrorist, bombing places and that sort of thing. Mahatma Gandhi from India, who was just an upper middle class Indian from a well-to-do, well-connected family who was lost and meandered around in life, so decided he would go fasting and stir up trouble for the alleged oppression that India was under from the British. And he's a Malcolm X, the activist who from the United States and the Islamic fundamentalist and activist and so on. So all these, like the top 10 heroes of this white kid, this upper middle class white kid. All his top 10 heroes are all black or female or lesbian or gay. There's not one straight white guy in the group, not one. And history, Western history, is absolutely festooned with heroes you could have picked from. But no, white people are so bad, and only non-white people can be good and virtuous. So he's completely lost faith in his own society, completely lost faith in his nation or anything. He's lost faith in the entire historical narrative of the West, going back to the Roman and Greek times and so on. If you attempt to raise anything, well, do you think the Greeks and Roman contribution to history? But they wouldn't let black lesbians vote, so they're all bad, they're all Nazis, they're all Hitler. Okay, that's hardly the material point. But so any Western achievement is denigrated because it didn't include some group, the black lesbian group or so on. So then you turn around and say, okay, well, did the Africans, did they include lesbians in their government? Oh, no, that's not the same, because only white people can be bad. You can't, no, that's not fair. You can't say that about Africa. Well, no, really, if white people are bad because they didn't include lesbians, why aren't black people bad because they didn't include white lesbians? Oh, no. Only white people can be bad. So successful is this brainwashing. Not only they believe that Western society is evil and morally repugnant and so on, but they've actually bought into the argument that only white people and exclusively white people can be bad. That's the extent to which our society has been undermined, has lost faith in itself, has lost confidence. Then you add in the idea of having the mass immigration, which then in turn dilutes the core culture of all white countries are subject to this now. And again, it can't be accidental. It's obviously very coordinated by the globalists and the NGOs and other flunkies that they control. But it demonstrates to me, at least, that invasion just isn't needed. You go to a place that has great faith and trust in its institutions. You then corrupt those institutions that then use that faith that the population had to actually turn the population against themselves and against the institutions and the self-belief. It's no small feat or achievement, yet the globalists have done it, and done it with, I think, consummate skill. Sure, duplicity and deception, absolutely. But they've achieved something that I wouldn't have thought was possible. They've even managed to co-opt our own politicians into the destruction of our own society. It's quite astonishing, but there you have it. So I don't think invasion of an advanced society is necessary anymore. I think it's possible to do it just through the methods that the globalists have used in undermining faith and confidence and self-belief, and of course undermining the economic structure, taking away opportunities, economic opportunities, destroying the future, Armageddon type scenarios of we're all going to die from climate change, any minute now, those sorts of things, and they've succeeded at it and done it very well, and we've lost between 1 and 2 generations are completely lost to that madness. And that's something that we should all look at with great regret, and will suffer horribly for it as time goes on. You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.